Hello, my loves. Welcome to Unlock Your Next Sale Masterclass. I am so pumped for today. And yeah, I can't wait to dive straight in. We're not going to fluff around. We're just going to go straight into the amazingness of unlocking your next sale. We're going to go through so much today. Firstly, though, I would love for you to set an intention for today. So this can just be as simple as I want to unlock my next sale. This could be I want to unlock 20 sales, like whatever it is. Ideally, we want it to relate to sales, but it could even just be how you're feeling around sales. So I want to feel more confident in selling. I want to magnetically attract more sales, whatever it is. But I just really want you to think about the reason why you signed up, why you're here, why you're watching this replay. And yeah, let's just set that intention for today because it's really, really important for me to create this space because I don't just do things for the sake of doing things. Like I want you to get what you need out of it. And if you can focus on what you need, what you're wanting, your intention, then you're going to have so much more of a deeper transformation. So what we're going to cover today, we're going to talk about gaining clarity and direction, removing our limiting beliefs, attracting our dream clients, installing empowering beliefs to create momentum, marketing and selling online, and energetics and embodying your boss baddie self. So those are the topics that we're going to go over today. And all of these combined is what is going to lead to unlocking your next sale. And now, before we go any further, I hope that you have a piece of paper and a pen because notes. But on a scale of 1 to 10, even if you just remember this or can you just jot it down on a post-it note, I don't really mind. Or even just DM me your start and your finish number. On a scale of 0 to 10, how confident do you feel that sales are flowing into your business? So when I asked this question before, I got 3s and 5s, and kind of that's where we were sitting. This is totally normal, and I am so excited that by the end of this class, we're going to significantly increase that number. So if you do the work, if you stay here with me, if you get deep on these things, you are going to feel much more confident about sales flowing into your business by the end of this class. So crystal clear clarity. If I asked you what your sales goals are, would you be able to tell me? This is the first step. It's super important, and it's something that I do with my clients every single time. As soon as we start working together, and even if we're continuing on together, we always come back to our goals. Now, don't get me wrong, I used to hate this. I used to hate setting goals. I used to just think it was boring and really it's got that bro energy, but that was all just my perspective. My perspective was really all wrong around goals because it's so important to have in business. It is what is going to keep you on track. It is how you are going to know what actions to take to move the needle to get you closer to your big vision. So your purpose, your big vision, you know what that is deep down. Whether you've written it down or not, I highly recommend you do so that you have that and you can come back to it all the time. But you know what that is. But then some people skip the part where they do the goals and the action steps. And this is a really I want to say fatal to your business mistake. That's how important it is because you can just fluff around and throw spaghetti at the wall and I'm all about ease, flow, all those things. Bring it. I love that. And you can take aligned action, but you're still taking action. And you need to take actions that are going to make a difference. And so this is why this is so important. Now, making sure that they are SMART goals, again, super important. They need to be specific. So having a number attached, having them measurable, having them be achievable. Achievable is, let's keep that one a little loose because I want you to dream big. I don't want you to limit yourself, but also we want to be laddering up. We want to be able to take the next step. We want to feel semi-comfortable in achieving it. So whatever feels comfortable and then go just beyond that. That's usually kind of how I set my goals. So what feels really achievable? what feels a little bit harder to achieve or maybe a little bit uncomfortable, and that's pretty much where I sit. Also, make it fun and reward yourself. So, on my board, which is right in front of me here, I have my business goals for 2024. So, I have my yearly goals, I have my purpose, my values, my products, and then I also have quarterly goals. So, my quarterly goals is how I create my action steps, my quarterly and my yearly goals, but generally, my quarterly goals are a breakdown of my yearly goals. So any actions that I'm taking, I'm always trying to bring it back to those goals. Now, up in the top left and right hand corner, I have rewards for myself. So if I was to tick off majority or all of my yearly goals, or when I tick off all of my yearly goals, I have got a reward of giving myself an overseas holiday, because if I achieved it, it would be epic. I would have the disposable income to be able to shoot off overseas. So that is one of my goals. That is one of my rewards, sorry. On the other side, my quarterly goals, I also have a reward for that. You don't have to make your goals like your rewards super crazy. You can make them like, quite low priced or free. Think about all the things that you really love. And you can even do this with your actions or with each individual goal. You could have like, as soon as you hit one goal, you could have like, treating yourself to an at-home spa day, or like a I don't know, a spa day in town, or like whatever it is. Like, you can make them small, and then overall make them bigger. So but you want to make sure that it's stuff that you really really like. Make sure that you really make it fun and make it you, and so that that it will be a celebration when you achieve those goals. The next step to creating clarity is, how will you know when you've achieved your goal? So, what will you see? What will you hear? What will you feel? Getting into those sensations, like those senses, tapping into all of that and like really getting into that, because that is going to be like it's going to create the vision in your head. It's going to create the energy, the feeling, and it's going to help with all of the momentum. So once you've done that, now I would spend probably like 5 to 10 minutes on this, if maybe even longer, about how you will know when you have achieved that goal. Once you get there, ask yourself, what are the actions that you took to get there? What are the actions that you took to achieve those goals? That is going to give you the indication of what you need to start doing. Now, likely what's going to happen when you do that, some limiting beliefs are going to come up, because there's going to be some, probably not for all of them, but for some of it, there's going to be resistance around the goals or the action steps that you need to take. So for example, when I think about the level of sales, the level of audience, all those things that I have set for myself, and I asked myself, what did I do to achieve those goals? It was guesting on podcasts. And that was super uncomfortable for me at first. Even the idea of pitching to podcasts was really hard, because I knew that I was likely going to be met with rejection. I knew that I was going to hear like crickets from some like places, and that it would probably take like quite a lot of pitching before someone said yes. And so just because it's uncomfortable doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. If your higher self, if that version of you who has achieved those goals has told you, or you have uncovered what those actions were to get there, then you absolutely need to take them. And so you need to remove whatever is standing in your way. So what is the resistance that came up for you when you thought about the actions that you need to take? If you haven't got any resistance, go do the actions. I guarantee something's going to come up at some point because we all have limiting beliefs. We all have issues with certain things. But if you have something that's come up for you that feels a little uncomfortable, feels a little bit resistant, feels hard, or sometimes the tricky part is that you're avoiding doing the thing. So your subconscious mind will be like, oh yeah, that would be really good, but maybe I'll do this instead. And it'll trick you into thinking that you're still doing the right thing, but you're avoiding what you're supposed to be doing altogether. And so you need to dig into that and figure out what it is. So I was chatting to one of our gorgeous Masterclass participants earlier, and she said that the thing that was coming up for her was disappointment. So she didn't want to put her sales goals down in a monthly goal because if she didn't hit it, then she would feel disappointed. So she said, so what I'll do instead is I'll put, the other goals like how many emails I'm going to send or how much my audience is going to grow or, whatever all those other things is. But she really didn't want to write the sales goal down. And that's totally fine. You don't have to do that. However, I asked her, what is causing the disappointment for you not hitting that goal? Because at the end of the day, it's just a number and doesn't matter if you achieved it or not, you're still worthy. So that was something that was coming up for her. And I told her that she probably needs to dive a little bit deeper into that feeling of disappointment because that is likely one of her limiting beliefs and it's causing her to not write that goal down. So like I said, you could totally go and do actions and other goals that have nothing to do with sales, that nothing to do with in the sense of like the goal specifically isn't like make X amount of sales, but then the actions are going to cause the sales, which is what we want. But we still probably want to have that number because the more that you get comfortable and the more that you create safety within that number, whether you're hitting it or not, the more likely you're going to take the action to create those results, which will create the sales and you will hit your goal. So this is really where we can start to excavate our limiting beliefs. So I've written here a list, and this is definitely not an exhaustive list, but journaling, tapping, so tapping EFT, if you've heard of that before, it's great. Finding evidence, so we're going to go into that a little bit more. Finding expanders. So one of the things that I did very early on was found people who are already in the place that I want to be, who have already achieved the goals I want to achieve, and watched and listened to them because they're showing me that if it's possible for them, then it's possible for me. And I found that so helpful when I didn't believe it was possible for me. Just finding the evidence that someone like me, a woman or someone, from a working class family or someone who, started their business like bootstrapping, like whatever it is that is relatable, and finding that commonality and then seeing their success and seeing where they got to was so, so helpful. So expanders are a huge one. I also love to meditate and do hypnosis morning and evening. That's when your conscious mind is starting to go to sleep and your brain waves start to go into a different state. So it's a really good time to talk to your subconscious mind. I love guided meditations because then, you don't have to, and I guess the whole point is to not to think, but you don't have to think too much about it. You just put on the guided meditation and you just listen and kind of like drift away. And visualizing, so daydreaming and thinking about what it is that you would have. So we talked about this before. What will you see, hear, feel, taste? Who are you with? All those things, like really, because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between real and imagined. So the more that you spend visualizing and imagining, the more that you're again creating safety in your body for that to happen. And the more likely your subconscious is going to help you get on board and take action towards creating that reality. Oh, and sorry, the last one, scripting. So that's like journaling. So scripting, it is December 2024 and I am blah, 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 blah. I've reached my sales goal, et cetera, and really going into that really deeply. And that can help to bring out those action steps too. Then also subconscious reprogramming techniques with a trained coach, which is, hello, hi, I'm a trained coach. So all of these things that we're going over today, we are going to go into so much deeper in Self-Doubt to Sold Out, which starts in May. It's a group coaching program. So we'll touch on that a little bit later, but everything that we're going through today is going to be in there 100 times deeper and with subconscious reprogramming techniques, which is really how we can remove those limiting beliefs, install the empowering beliefs, like really move things really quickly. So I would love for you to do this exercise. I want you to split your page in half, and because you're watching the replay, I would love for you to pause this once we've gone through how to do it, and actually spend some time here, because out of all of the things, all of like the writing and the exercises and things that we're going to do today, this is probably the most important in terms of loosening up your limiting beliefs, creating empowering beliefs, and moving you towards your goals and your action steps and to taking action. So I want you to divide your page into two halves, as you can see here. And I want you to write what will happen if I achieve my sales goal on one side. And on the other side, I want you to write what will happen if I don't achieve them. Now, what we're trying to do here is create towards motivation for achieving your goal and away motivation from not achieving your goal. So, for example, when I achieve my goal, I will have financial freedom. I will feel abundant. I will have helped X amount of women. I will, like whatever it is for you that is going to allow you to happen. I want you to get specific. I want you to list as many things as possible. Like, I want you to exhaust this list, as many things as possible. And then on the other side, I want you to write what will happen if you don't achieve them. So this is stuff like, if I don't achieve my sales goal, then eventually I might have to close the business and I'll have to go back to a 9 to 5. Like something that really frightens you about not achieving your goal, and making sure that it like is the thing that would light a fire under your butt. Okay. So really feel into what that is for you. So once you've done that, we're going to go into attracting your dream client. So firstly, you want to really figure out who is your dream client. Now, a lot of people go straight into demographics. So, age and where they live and things like that. Sometimes that is helpful, especially if you're doing like targeted ads and things like that. But in terms of your messaging, which is probably significantly more important, it's not going to be so helpful. So you really want to get into who is your dream client, in terms of what do they value? What do they care about? What's like, because every person is different, and success and, freedom and fulfillment to one person looks very different to another. So it's like, what does that look like to your dream client? Like when I think about for someone, it might be like, I'm going to buy a property and have a hobby farm and be sustainable. That might be their idea of freedom and fulfillment. And another person might be like, I'm going to live by the ocean and have a 3-story luxury house and have designer handbags and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So like everyone is different. And so there's likely going to be similarities for your dream client. You can just have one person in mind, like a customer avatar style, and that's totally fine. You don't have to go into all of that stuff, like, naming them and stuff. If you find that helpful because you're talking to someone, then definitely do that. But for me, I just keep in mind the main like values and things like that. So once you've got a rough idea, the next step is to go into what are they struggling with and what are their pain points. Now, this isn't what you think they're struggling with. This is what they think they're struggling with. So, for example, for my clients, sometimes they think that they're not getting sales because of their strategy and their marketing. And usually that's not the case. Sometimes it needs tweaking for sure. But usually it's to do with a limiting belief, or 3 or 4 or a lot. It could be to do with the fact that they don't have empowering beliefs. It could be to do with the fact that they haven't got clear goals. So there's all these different things that it could be that if I was trying and sell them on that, they would be like, well, no, I don't have that problem. I just need sales, and I need, like, that's a strategy thing, right? So there's going to be like an education piece around it to show them that no, it's not actually the strategy, but then it's also meeting them where they're at and being like, do you want more sales? Okay, I can help you with that. And then they're like, oh, okay, this isn't about the marketing and the strategy so much, although that is important and we are going into that today. It's a lot about the mindset. So I hope that makes sense. And so then that leads into what is it that they really want. So we talked about the values and things like that. So what do they see as their desires, not what you necessarily can give them? But then going into what is the results and transformation that you provide, and do these things match? Is there because otherwise they're not going to take or buy or consume what you have to offer, because it's not a match for what they want. So it's really about, you don't ever have to change. I don't want you to think that you have to change what you have to meet them. It just means that you might have to get different dream clients and different messaging if it doesn't match your current audience. So you could go about it two ways. I'm very much of the belief of whatever feels deep in your heart about who you're here to serve and what you have to offer, follow that rather than meeting your audience where they're at necessarily. That may give you temporary relief, but it's not going to be long-term, creating a really solid foundation, making you sustainable, and all those things. And I also highly recommend that you don't follow the status quo and to be uniquely you. What makes you and your business unique, and why should they buy from you over someone else? And this is crucial to your dream clients, because if you try to cater to everyone, you will start to water yourself down. You'll start to hold back. You'll start to, water down your opinions. You'll start to behave a certain way, to please the masses, all of these things. So it's really important that you stay uniquely you. And even if you're a brand, like an e-commerce brand or something like that, this still applies. What makes your brand and your business unique? What are the values of your business, and why should they buy from you? And then that leads to getting out of your own way, because it's really not about you. What you have to offer is not about you. It's a lovely, lovely compensation from the universe that we get as business owners to serve people, and we deserve and are worthy to be paid and paid well. But that is not the focus. The focus is your bigger purpose and serving your dream clients. And so you need to remind yourself of that so that you can get out of your own way. And getting out of your own way is basically releasing your limiting beliefs and working through the discomfort of that. So, marketing and selling online. So once you've established who your dream client is, what their values are, and, connecting with them on that level, you need to ask yourself, what platforms are they on? Now, as someone who is working in her own business, wearing all the hats and doesn't have a team, you need to be very, very selective with what you're listening to from marketing experts and business owners, because you can sell on any platform pretty much. You can get visibility, you can connect with people, you can direct them to sales, you can, advertise. Honestly, especially when it comes to social media, you can do that on any of them. So what is more important is which platform are they actually spending time on? And you can go even deeper and you can look into a customer journey and figure out, do they see you on TikTok, then follow you on Instagram, and then purchase from your website? You can go into all of that as well. But I would pick 1 to 2 main platforms in terms of social media and focus on those. You can repurpose to other platforms if it's easy for you to do, because we also don't want to put all our eggs in one basket. But for the most part, I would focus on just a couple of platforms and do them really, really well instead of trying to spread yourself thin. Now, this means also when there's a new trend, when there's a new platform, when there's like shiny new strategy syndrome, being careful not to jump from platform to platform. Um, you can listen to your intuition here, because sometimes it's good to be an early adopter of a platform. There are benefits to that, but you have to make sure that you are going to stay the course there. Of course, you can try things on, that's totally fine, but just be super, super intentional about where you're spending your time, where you're connecting with your audience, and making sure that your dream clients are there with you. Otherwise, you're just speaking into the ether and not attracting your dream clients. For example, the large majority of my audience are women. I only have about 4% men followers on Instagram, and I delete them all. So for example, Twitter is a predominantly male-based platform. I probably could have some success there, but it's really not my style. And yeah, not my audience. So I'm not going to waste my time on Twitter. Whereas Instagram is where the large majority of my audience spends time. And therefore, that's where I am spending my time. And also, I really love Instagram. So it all works out really well. So, what do you find easy? What do you like doing? Because it needs to be sustainable, or you need to be able to outsource it. So if you have the ability to outsource to a VA, to a team, whatever, then absolutely go for it. Like, but still you want to make sure you're prioritizing. But yeah, what do you think is sustainable for you? And a quick side note as well, leveraging email marketing is super important, because you own your email marketing, you don't own your social media channels. So wherever you can, moving people to your email list, super important, because then you have that email list, it's yours and you can download it. And then if the platform, your account gets hacked, it gets deleted, there's a glitch, like all the things that can happen, you are going to still have access to your audience to then tell them, hey, I'm no longer at this account, I'm over here, whatever's happening. So the reason that we want to do all these things is to create trust and consistency. Sorry, trust with consistency and connection. So being consistent on social media platforms is way more crucial than the amount that you're posting. So it is way more beneficial for you to do just a few posts a week, for example, and do them really well and do them very consistently, than if you do them every day and then you can't keep that up, and then you do it for 2 months and then you have a month off. So from an algorithm perspective, that is true, but from a trust connection with your audience, that is also true, because people don't trust inconsistent things or inconsistent people. So if you're not there reliably, they are going to either forget about you, or they're not going to trust you, because you won't come across as reliable. Why would you give someone your money if they're never, like, if they're just there 1 minute and gone the next, or if they're talking about one thing and then they're talking about a completely different thing the next day, and it doesn't make sense to you? There has to be consistency in you showing up, the amount you're showing up, your branding in like all of these different things, even your brand colors, creating consistency in your brand colors, like that can help with trust. So thinking about how is it that you can create more consistency with your brand and it makes you reliable and trustworthy. Also, connection is a huge, huge thing now and like into the future. People don't want surface level, they don't want bullshit, and they're looking for really authentic connections. So whether that's like creating, spending some time in your DMs, creating those connections, genuinely creating those connections, networking and creating connections within your network, all of these things to make sure that you have a loyal customer base, but also you're creating that connection with your new audience as well. And just a reminder that the messaging piece that we just went over in the dream client section is so much more important than any trend or algorithm is ever going to be. Whilst it can be great to hop on a trend, it can be fun, do it for fun. Love that for you. Love that for me. Love a trend. do that. It's great to play. It's great to try things. And you're going to probably get decent reach out of it, especially if it is a trend, because they're probably pushing it a bit more. And the algorithm is changing all the time. Okay. So don't try and, unless you're a social media manager, don't try and keep up with it. Just listen to how it is operating, test things out yourself. But your messaging is so much more important than any trend or algorithm. And as I mentioned before, things have changed. Consumers are so savvy now. They're looking for connection with brands. They're looking for brands that will mirror their values. They're looking for brands that give a shit about their customers, about the world, about the things going on in the world. They want to know that you stand for something. Especially if you are targeting younger audiences like millennials and Gen Z. They are really, really, they really care deeply about the things going on in the world. And so they want to know that where they're putting their money, because they also don't have a great deal of money. They want to know that where they're spending it is going to important causes. So just as a general overview, that's not to say that there aren't a lot of people with money. There absolutely is, especially as millennials and Gen Z are getting older too. So what are your values? I have my values sitting here in front of me. So I've dived really deeply into these, and the things that I've come up with for me are freedom, success, growth, adventure, and connection. And I could dive a lot deeper into all of those things about why they are those things. But you need to figure out what yours are, and you need to uphold them within your business and your brand. That doesn't mean that you have to think about it 24/7 and you have to tell the world these are my brand values or anything like that. That is more to keep you on your North Star. So what are 3 marketing and or selling actions that you're committed to doing this week? I want you to write them down, and I want you to sign your name underneath and show your subconscious mind that you're committed to these actions. Now, this can be create 5 selling stories or something. It could be email that person in my network that I know could have a great opportunity for me within their audience, or to collab with someone, whatever it is, whatever came to you when you were visualizing and creating those goals and those actions. This is what I want you to write down. And this is what I want you to take action on after this class, because this is where the work is. This is where you will create results by taking these actions, because these are the actions that move excuse me, move the needle in your business. So, installing empowering beliefs. So, a quick reminder, our subconscious mind produces up to 95% of the results that you're seeing in your life, including your business. There's so much information going on around us. Our mind cannot absorb it all. So our subconscious mind takes everything in and then determines what's important based on our values, based on, our goals, things that like our identity, the time of day, the person that's saying it, the things that are happening around us. All of these things will then filter through into our conscious mind, and then that creates our feelings and our behaviors and our reactions. Now, this means that there is so much that we, quote unquote, can't control. But we can install empowering beliefs in our subconscious mind so that it brings through the right information. Because if you don't believe that you can achieve your sales goal, your subconscious mind is going to work towards fulfilling that prophecy. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because if you don't deep down believe that you can have that thing, your subconscious mind will be like, cool, okay, well, I'll make that happen. And I'll show you all the ways, all the evidence, all the opportunities in which will prove to you that you can't have that thing. So if you install an empowering belief so that you do believe it, really, really, truly believe it, your subconscious mind will do everything in its power to prove that true and will make you succeed in that goal. So a way that we can do this is find the evidence that already exists. So we touched on this before. So writing a list of all the things that show you that you're already on your way to achieving this goal. So it could be I've grown my followers by 100 people in X amount of months. I've had 5 sales this week. I've had inquiries in my DMs. Like whatever evidence you can find, as much as you can find, write it down. And then the more evidence that you find, the more that you prove to yourself that it's possible. The other thing you can do, as we mentioned before, is finding expanders. So finding those people who are already achieving what you want to achieve. And this creates those really empowering beliefs because it shows you that it's possible for you. And I've rewritten all of those things: journaling, tapping, meditation, hypnosis, visualizing, scripting, because the same things that you use to remove your limiting beliefs can help you install your empowering beliefs, just in the opposite way. So when you're journaling on removing a limiting belief, it would be like, why do I, how do I feel when I think about money? Okay, it feels heavy. It feels hard. I don't believe that money can flow into my business easily. My clients can't afford to buy, whatever it is that's coming up for you. And then an empowering belief would be more like, I believe that my audience is capable and empowered to make their own financial decisions. I believe that they value what I have to offer. I believe that I am experienced and can help my clients achieve what they want to achieve. So starting to write in that tone rather than in, when we're searching for the limiting belief like we were before when we were journaling. So figuring out the ways, which modalities, which techniques really help you. And if you want help finding which techniques, send me a DM. I would love to chat to you. I've got a whole list of things that you can try. And the important thing is to try them and see how it fits and how it feels on you. So, for me, like I said, journaling, I might journal once every few months. And some people journal every single day. And on the other hand, meditation and hypnosis, I tend to do really regularly. So, finding what really fits for you and your lifestyle. You can even ask yourself, what does the future version of you do? That would be a good one, because it's like you're tapping into your future self and they're going to tell you which techniques are going to be the most helpful for you. And then, of course, subconscious reprogramming with a trained coach, as we mentioned before. So we are going to install really empowering beliefs for sales, for money, for confidence, for all of those things inside Self-Doubt to Sold Out, the group coaching program that I have starting in May. Now, embodying your boss baddie self goes hand in hand with empowering beliefs, because once we believe that we are that version of ourselves, we can behave that way, and vice versa. If you start behaving as your boss baddie self, you're going to start believing that it is possible. So they're like this nice intertwined cycle. It doesn't matter which one you start with, one is going to lead into the other. So some questions to ask yourself is, how is the financially free sales expert dream client attract a version of you showing up? What actions is she taking? So this comes back to the actions that we were talking about before with our goals, action steps, and then those marketing and sales goals that you've committed to doing this week. What has she done to get there? Because that is going to give you the key to your unique strategy. Let me say that again. Doing this and seeing the actions that she has taken to achieve that goal is going to give you the key to the strategy that you need to be taking. As I mentioned before, the strategy doesn't really matter. The platforms don't really matter. What matters is the deeper stuff and following your unique path. So your intuition, your higher self, angels, universe, like whatever it is that you want to refer to, the future version of you already has the answer. So you need to listen to them and not to everybody else. But that's the really hard part, is trusting yourself. But the version of you who's embodying your, sold out self, your boss baddie self, whatever you want to call her, she has already taken all those actions. She has already done all those things. So she knows the best. So how can you show up as her now? And what did she let go of to achieve those goals? What did she let go of to achieve those goals is an important question for identifying your limiting beliefs. That's going to show you a little insight into some of the things that are coming up for you. So for example, she let go of self-doubt. She let go of caring about what others thought about her. She let go of, whatever it is. That is going to show you your limiting beliefs and where you can work. I want to lead you through a quick visualization now. So I would love for you to close your eyes, get comfy, sit back, take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And I want you to imagine that moment when you've achieved your sales goal that you set today. You can see yourself in that moment. You can feel the feelings of joy, excitement, how proud you are. You're even a little bit surprised at this goal being achieved. Such a pleasant, nice surprise at how everything worked out, at how even when it felt like it wasn't working out, it was realigning and giving you the next opportunity and the next step to get you there. And you can see your dream clients so happy that they engaged in your services, that they purchased from you. They're sending you DMs and emails with feedback. They're telling their friends and family about you. And you just feel so fulfilled that you have been able to lead these people in the way that you were meant to. Fulfilling your higher purpose, being an inspiration for others, being other people's expanders in just the way that only you can do it. Your uniqueness pouring out of you, unfiltered, unapologetic, in the most beautiful and magical way that is healing to other people, that shows them that it's possible for them too. And the sales that have come as a result, the money that has flowed into your life and into your business, that you've been able to circulate back into the economy, through your family. You've been able to do things that you never thought that you could do. And it has allowed you to feel free, expansive, abundant, and just be the best version of yourself that you've always known that you can be. And then you see a door, and it has that sales goal on it. The one that you haven't yet achieved, but you know is possible. Has a padlock on the door, and you walk over to it and you can see that it's locked. And there's a key that you see around your neck. You look down and you see the key and it wasn't there before. And you look at the lock and you look at the key and you look at the lock and you look at the key and you start to make the connection and you realize that they might be a fit for one another. And so you try it. And what do you know? It unlocks. And the door opens and the light pours through. The joy, the excitement, the fulfillment, the clients, the sales, all pours through the door and into you. And it's waiting for you to step through. And you just have to take the first step. You just have to do the first action. That will lead to the next and the next. And before you know it, here you are. You're here. You've achieved it. And you are so, so proud of yourself. I want you to take another deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth, wriggling your fingers and toes, opening your eyes when you're ready, and welcome back. I hope that was a vibey, delicious visualization. It feels so good when we visualize our goals. It was on our list before. Visualizing helps with the action steps. So whatever just came up for you, feel free to write it down, do a little bit of a brain dump. If you saw something that you didn't see before, you didn't figure out before in the previous goals section, in the action section, then do write it down. And this is going to be the key. And if it hasn't come up just yet, that's totally fine. Give yourself some time to integrate, and you are going to get that moment where it's going to drop in. So as a summary for all of today, unlocking your next sale is more about who you are being, what you believe, and then taking action from an empowered and grounded place than it is about your strategy and your marketing. As we said, strategy, marketing, important. It's a part of the actions, but only in the way that you are meant to do it, not in the way that someone else has told you to do it. So who are you being? What do you believe? And are you taking action from that empowered and grounded place? To do that, get super clear on your goals, your actions, your dream clients, and your messaging. This part is the most important part of your strategy. If you don't do this, everything else is going to feel hard. So spend some time on these. Take action now, even if it's just baby steps, because we can't dwell on all of this stuff either. So you don't want to go too far the other way and hide behind all of this stuff. We don't want to wait until our goals are perfect, our action steps are perfect. We know exactly who our dream client is. We know, the exact messaging. You need to take action. It can be messy. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to get more clarity out of doing the thing than, waiting and writing about it 100 million times. Remember that you are unique and we want to stand out, okay? I always use the thing of like, you don't want to be the vanilla ice cream. And I apologize if you do love vanilla, but you don't want to be vanilla when you could be chocolate chip salted caramel, like goodness, oozy center, like just scrumptious. Like you want to be the one that stands out, not the vanilla one that fades into the background that everyone, tolerates, right? You want to be the one that's a little bit polarizing, the one that not everybody chooses, but the people that do choose it, oh my God, they love it. Don't ignore what feels hard or scary. So as I said, take messy action, get a little bit uncomfortable. You're going to get so much more clarity and you're going to move the needle a lot faster. Because if you wait for till you're comfortable, if you wait in that comfort zone, you're going to be waiting forever. So you need to take the action, and you need to not ignore what feels hard or scary. So as I mentioned before, if you're setting those goals and they feel hard and you want to do something else, is that genuinely your intuition telling you to focus on something else, or is it you avoiding something because of a limiting belief? And then find the evidence in your life and in others' lives. Find your expanders. Find those people who are just a few steps ahead of you. They don't have to have like the whole thing, your biggest dream. They just have to be, have achieved the little goals that you want to achieve, and see that it's possible for you. Find the evidence in your own life as well. Don't avoid that. Don't, get stuck in the oh, I haven't really done anything. I don't really have any sales flowing in. Like, don't get stuck in that. It's your subconscious mind tricking you. You have a business, you've likely had an inquiry, you've had someone like your post, you've had something that shows you that you can do it. You've had other people, friends, family tell you that you're talented in this particular area. Like, find all the evidence that you can. And finally, explore the modalities and techniques that will help you. So that's the journaling, the meditation, the EFT, all of those things. And they are going to help you. And if you want more help, then we are going to go deep into the NLP techniques, subconscious mind reprogramming in self-doubt to sold out, starting in May. So on a scale of 0 to 10, how confident do you feel now that sales are now flowing into your business? So I trust, I don't even say I hope, because I trust that it has increased. If you've done all of this work, if you spent some time here today, if you invested this time, this energy, then you are going to have that increase. I guarantee it. So DM me with what you started at and what you finished at, because I bloody love seeing that. It means the world to me to know that I have helped improve your mindset and your business in some way. That's what I am here for. And I know that a lot of things came up for you today, and this is just the start, or the middle of your journey, whatever you want to call it. But I just want you to imagine in the next 3 months, waking up in the morning and you're pumped to work in your business. You're genuinely pumped. And you jump on your stories and you're super confident, and your dream clients are bloody vibing with you, and you're magnetizing and know that the sales are coming in because you have a bigger purpose and you're here to serve. And then you get to head off to your favorite yoga class. That's pretty nice. Or how about finally attracting that speaking event or that opportunity, that collab that has been on your vision board since forever? These are the things that we are going to work on in self-doubt to sold out in the next 3 months. So from mid-May, we are going to work on all of these things. Every single module, every single thing that we covered today is going to be a module that we are going to go so deep into self-doubt to sold out. So this is a fortnightly live group coaching session. It's going to have hot seat coaching, so you can come on, ask questions. We can coach in real time so that you can get personalized support. We're also going to have 12 weeks of Voxer. So Voxer is a voice note app. It's also a text note, so you can ask questions, you can celebrate your wins, you can jump in with feedback, anything that you need to continue integrating and get support in between those fortnightly calls. And let me tell you, when I say I have had so many huge realizations and moments through a Voxer container, because you're listening and interacting in a masterclass and it feels really good and you just come off so high vibe. But then the Voxer is where you start to reflect and where you start to integrate everything. And then you're and you think, you have a question or something comes up. And so to get that support, that reply, that advice, that mentoring, that coaching back within, the 24 hours or over the weekend is so it's mind-blowing. So we're also going to have all the support tools that you would need along the way, audios, those hypnosis, meditations, subliminals, journal prompts, challenges, all the things. You can also upgrade to the VIP package, which has a 60-minute one-on-one session and a personalized hypnosis as well. So we're starting on the 14th of May. There's already 2 beautiful souls inside, so there's only 10 spots left. So if one of those spots is yours, then get on it, DM me, I'll send you the link. I'll also have the link underneath here so you can jump on in. For the next 48 hours, you are going to get $100 off group coaching or $200 off the VIP option. So I've got the checkout links for those. They're coming to you via email, so you can DM me or get them through the email, and I would love to see you inside. So if you have any questions about today or about the group coaching or anything like that, then send me an email, hello@she'sabundant.com, or DM me on Instagram. That's where I love to hang out, and we probably connected through there already, at she's.abundant. So thank you so much for coming today. I have had the best time, and I just cannot wait to hear about your feedback, about your ahas, about how much you've moved from that, that number from the start to the finish. If you have questions about what we've covered, I would love to support you. And yeah, I will see you very, very soon. Mwah!